Good morning, all of you. Yesterday, already we have studied 4 exceptions to the law of demand. But there are some internet problem. So that's why our lecture was not completed. So today we are going to cover remaining points or remaining exceptions of that situation against to the law of demand. Means there are, I think, two exceptions or 2 points are remain there. Okay, so how many exceptions are there? There are, I think, 6 exceptions are there. So the first, prestige goods. Second one is habitual goods. Third is price illusions. Fourth is Gibbon's paradox. Fifth is speculations, and sixth is ignorance. Okay, so today we are going to study, or we are going to start or cover the remaining exceptions to the law of demand. So point number 5, speculation. The meaning of speculation in simple word is, we have studied, in determinants of market demand or factors affecting to the market demand. In that concept we have studied expectations about future price of the consumer. Okay, so that point's explanation have 100% related to the exceptions to the law of demand. Its name is speculation. Okay, speculation, speculation. Okay, so if a consumer, what is the exceptions or what is the speculation that exceptions against to the law of demand? Okay, so if any consumer expect a rise in price of commodity in near future, so that consumer purchase or demanded more commodity at present price. That is the real situation against to the law of demand. Okay, then opposite, when a consumer expect fall in price of commodity in near future, so he will demand less at present price. So that 2 lines pure are totally against to the law of demand. So there is speculation is the 100% exceptions to the law of demand. Once again, so what is that situation against to the law of demand? If a consumer expect rise, in price by near future, so he will demand more at present price. And if a consumer expect fall in price of commodity in near future, so he will demand less at present price. It is called as the speculation. Is that clear? So at that time before Diwali, so coming soon now. So before Diwali, so various types of the oils, sugar, and any items prices rises before Diwali. So consumer demanded more at higher price because of he expect the increasing price in near future. Is that clear? Okay. So point number 6, ignorance. म्हणजे अज्ञान. So sometimes people do not have any proper knowledge of market or market price. Means you also, me also, any other also do not have proper knowledge of any market price, so that consumer may not be aware. Means the consumer, he will may not be awareness or aware to fall of the price of commodity and rise in price of commodity. That type of ignorance, consumer purchase more and more commodity or demanded more commodity only due to the ignorance, when their price also rises or price also high because of the ignorance of the consumer. Sometimes people do not have any proper knowledge of market price. That's why he may not be aware of fall or rise in price of commodity. That's why he purchase more at higher price. That is the real exception to the law of demand. बघा, इग्नोरन्स एक्सप्लेनेशन तुम्हाला मी सांगत होतो. काही बाबतीमध्ये काही उपभोक्त्याला अज्ञान असते किमतीच्या बाबतीमध्ये, कारण ते कधी कधीच बाजारामध्ये जातात. आता तुम्ही समजा आपलं कॉलेज स्टार्ट झालं तर कॉलेज सुटल्यानंतर कधीतरी भाजी बाजारामध्ये गेलात आणि एखादी भाजी घेतली, पण तुम्हाला त्या भाजीची किंमत कमी झालेली आहे का वाढलेली माहित नाही, कारण तुम्ही आहे त्या किमतीला ती खरेदी करतात. याचा अर्थ तुमचं त्या वस्तूबद्दल प्रचंड नाराज आहे, कारण तुम्ही काय करताय, किंमत जास्त असताना सुद्धा त्याची डिमांड जास्त करताय आणि कधी कधी किंमत कमी असताना सुद्धा त्याची डिमांड कमी करताय. आणि त्याच्यामुळे काय होतं की हा जो लॉ आहे, हा लॉ 100% खरा ठरत नाही. इट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द देअर इज. सो एक्सेप्शन्स टू द लॉ ऑफ डिमांड. ओके. देन स्पेक्युलेशन बद्दल आपण सांगितलं होतं की कधी कधी तुम्हाला असं वाटतं की भविष्यात वस्तूची किंमत वाढणार आहे, म्हणून तुम्ही सध्या किंमत वाढत असताना सुद्धा डिमांड काय करता, जास्त करता. आणि कधी कधी तुम्हाला वाटतं की भविष्य काळामध्ये वस्तूची किंमत कमी होणार आहे आणि आत्ता या प्रेझेंट कंडिशन मध्ये किंमत कमी असताना सुद्धा मागणी तुम्ही जास्त करत नाही. सो हाऊ मेनी एक्सेप्शन्स टू द लॉ ऑफ डिमांड? So there are 6 exceptions to the law of demand. First of, prestige goods. Second, habitual goods. Third, price illusions or consumer psychological bias. Fourth, Gibbons paradox or Gibbons goods. It is known as the inferior goods. Fifth, speculation, and sixth, ignorance. So here is end of very important law for the Hsc board exam. So how many sections we have studied in that theory or the law of demand? So first of, introduction, then statement, third, explanation. So explanation with the help of schedule, and B, explanation with the help of curve or diagram, and then second means second heading, assumptions to the law of demand, and finally last very important concept, exceptions to the law of demand. So that types of the various points or various sections in the theory of demand. So already we have studied, and then here is the end of the theory of demand and law of demand. So introduced by, explained by Dr. Alfred Marshall in his book Principles of Economics in which year? 1890. Okay, so then today another very important concept studied here. So that concept name is variations in demand. Variations in demand. Okay, variations in demands, त्याला आपण असं म्हणतो, लक्षात ठेवा की मागणीमध्ये बदल होतो किंवा मागणीमध्ये विचलन होते ते बघायचं. व्हॉट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ व्हेरिएशन्स इन डिमांड? मीन्स when price No, when demand falls or rises. Okay, look at that. When demand falls or rises due to changes in price of commodity, it is known as, means it is called as variation in demand. Simple meaning, what is the meaning of variation in demand? Okay, variation means there are some changes in demand, okay, like variation and like a growth. So when demand falls or rises, means decreases or increases. Okay, when demand falls or rises, mean decreases or increases due to changes in price of commodity. Means whenever you start that concept, so you use, so when price falls or when price rises, means when price decreases or when price increases, what is the impact on price of commodity, or when price increases or decreases, so what is the impact on quantity demanded of the consumer? So it is called as the variation in demand. Means when demand falls or rises due to changes in price of commodity, so it is called as a variation demand. So it means that when price falls, demand rises or decreases. When price rises, demand decreases or falls. That types of changes related to the concept of variation in demand. Is that clear? Okay. So once again, when demand falls or rises due to changes in price of commodity, it is called as the variation in demand. Means the concept of variation in demand related to the changes in price of commodity and what's impact on consumers demand. So it is called the variation in demand. It means what is the impact when price falls, demand rises, and when price rises, demand falls. That types of changes related to in concept of variation in demand. Is that clear? Okay, so there are two types of variation in demand. How many types? There are two types in variation in demand. Okay, so first type is A section expansion or extension in demand. So there are two types of variation in demand. There are two kinds of variation in demand. First is the expansion or extension in demand. Okay. Extension in demand, and second type is the contraction in demand. Okay, this is the first types and this is the second types. Okay, so first line, there are two types of variations in demand. So first type is expansion or extension in demand, and second is contraction in demand. So what is the meaning of expansion or extension in demand? Look at that. What is the meaning? Expansion in demand, expansion in demand refers expansion in demand refers rises in quantity demand, rises in quantity demand due to fall in price of commodity, price of commodity. So this situation related to other things oblique factors remaining constant. Okay, that line is very important. Which line? Other things or factors remaining constant. Which factors remaining constant means taste, habits, fashions, income of the consumers, as well as the size of populace remain constant. It is called as the other things or other factors remaining constants. Okay, so what is the meaning of expansion or extension in demand? So expansion in demand refers to rises in quantity demanded, means increases in quantity demanded due to fall in price of commodity, so other thing remaining constant. And in very simple language, what is the definition of extension in demand or expansion in demand? So you are right, other thing remaining constant or other factor remaining constant. When price falls, then demand rises. Simple. When price falls, then demand rises. It is called or it is known as extension in demand or expansion in demand. त्याला मराठीमध्ये म्हणतात मागणीचा विस्तार. काय म्हणतात? मागणीचा विस्तार, किंवा त्याला तुमच्या भाषेमध्ये मागणीचे प्रसरण हा शब्द आहे. विस्तार म्हणजे आपण ब्रॉडली घेतो, बरोबर आहे की नाही? विस्तार असे नव्हतं का? ज्यावेळी किंमत कमी होते त्यावेळेस मागणी खूप वाढते. हा काय झाला? विस्तार. याला काय म्हणतो आपण? एक्सपान्शन. याला काय म्हणतो आपण? एक्सटेंशन. हा विस्तार आहे. व्हेन प्राइस फॉल्स देन डिमांड राइजेस or increases. It is called as extension in demand. But here is the one much necessary conditions are there. Other thing or other factors remaining constant. Which factor are constant here? Like income of the consumer, taste, habits, fashions. Okay, and size of populations. That types of factors remain constant. So in hyper language, expansion in demand refers to rises in quantity demanded due to fall in price of commodity. So other factors remaining constants. So it is known it is called as expansion or extension in demand. And in my language, simple language, other thing remaining constant, other factors remaining constant, when price falls, then demand rises or increases. It is called as extension in demand. Okay? So this is the pure meaning of expansion in demand or extension in demand. Clear? Okay. So expansion or extension in demand, that concept, this concept, in that concept explained with the help of diagram. Okay, with the help of diagram. Same conditions, same situation, same meaning we are presented or introduced in diagram. Okay. There are two axes. Okay, this is Y. Here is O. Then X. Okay, Y, O, X. So Y axis indicate or represent price of commodity in bracket rupees. Okay, Y axis indicate the price of commodity in bracket rupees, and X axis indicate the quantity demand in kilograms. Okay, quantity demand in kilograms. So very simple technique to draw the diagram. So first of all, start. Okay, you draw only column. Okay, and then one curve. It is known as so this is the DD. DD means demand curve. Okay, this is the DD. DD means demand curve. So here is the PP1 price, and here is the QQ1. QQ1 means quantity demanded. Okay, so look at that arrow. Okay, and then this point A and this point B. This moment. Okay, so this diagram related to the extension or expansion of demand. So expansion of the diagram, what is the meaning? What is it? Simple. What is the simple meaning of extension or expansion in demand? Okay, so start. Other thing remaining constant or other factor remaining constant when price of commodity falls, then demand increases or rises. It is called as extension or expansion in demand. Okay, so that expansion or extension in demand can be explained with the help of this diagram. So the diagram means y-axis indicate price of commodity in bracket rupees, and x-axis indicate demand, means quantity demand in kilograms. In the diagram, dd is the demand curve. Okay, dd is the demand curve, and the concept of extension in demand presented or explained only a same demand curve. Only on same demand curve, it is called as dd. Okay, so look at that. When price falls from point P to P1, mean price falls, decreases from point P to P1, that moment, and at that time quantity demanded rises from Q to Q1, means when price falls P to P1 and then demand rises Q to Q1, so it is called as the extension in demand. So in the diagram, downward movement, which moment? Downward movement from point A to B, this portion. Okay, downward movement from point A to B indicate this is the extension in demand, because on the same demand curve, because when price falls from P to P1 and demand rises from Q to Q1, it is known or it is called as extension or expansion in demand. And the concept of expansion and extension in demand indicate in diagram. So the point A to B, that downward movement from point A to B indicate that is the extension in demand. Is that clear? On the same demand curve. Why? Because that portion, look at. Okay, when price falls from point P to P1, look at, then demand rises from point Q to Q1. It is called or it is known as extension or expansion in demand. Clear? So here is the end of first types of variation in demand. Okay, that's second types. Second type, contraction in demand. Contraction in demand. So first of the second, what is the meaning of contraction in demand? Okay, contraction in demand. Refers to fall in quantity demand, means demand due to changes in so contraction in demand refers to fall in quantity demanded due to rises in or increases in demand. Increases in price of commodity. It is called as contraction in demand. Totally opposite definition of expansion or expansion in demand. Is that clear? So, second types of variation in demand. Contraction in demand refers to fall in quantity demanded due to rises in price of commodity. Also, other things or other factors remaining equal or same or stable, or other thing being constant, or other factor remaining equal or constant. What is the other factors? Means other things like taste, habits, passions, okay, then income of the consumer as well as the size of population remain constant. So look at that. Dr. Alfred Marshall explain or introduce the law of demand. Okay, so what is the statement of demand? In simple, other thing remaining constant, when price falls then demand rises, and when price rises then demand falls. So 50% portion of the law of demand, it is called as extension in demand, and another 50% portion of the law of demand, it is known as contraction in demand. So contraction in demand refers to fall in quantity demanded due to rises in price of commodity. So other factor remaining constant or other factor remaining equal, means income, fashion, taste, and as well as the size of population remain constant. Okay, so in simple, so what is the define of expansion or extension in demand? In simple language, other thing remaining constant. When price falls, then demand rises. It is known as expansion or extension in demand. Okay, and so opposite of that definition, what is the contraction demand? Other thing remaining constant. Okay, other thing remaining constant. When price rises, then demand. When price rises, then demand falls. It is called as the contraction in demand. त्याला संकोच किंवा आकुंचन काय होतं? ज्यावेळेस किमती वाढतात तेव्हा डिमांड काय होते? कमी होते. Is that clear? So other thing remaining means what is the define? Other thing remaining constant, when price of commodity rises, then demand falls. And in hyperlanguage, contraction in demand refers to fall in quantity demanded due to rises in price of commodity. So other thing remaining equal or constant, it is called as contraction demand. So also contraction in demand can be explained with the help of a single diagram. With the help of diagram. Second, contraction. Same. Okay. Okay. So Y O then X, Y O X. So Y axis indicate the price of commodity in bracket rupees. Clear? Then x-axis indicate or represents quantity demanded in kilograms. Quantity demanded in kilograms. Okay, so same. Same diagram. Here is your draw the dotted line because you indicate contraction in demand. So again you complete that line, you draw the DD is the demand curve. Okay, DD is the demand curve. Okay, then so price P1, then quantity demanded Q1. Okay, so use that arrow. Okay, use that arrow. Then so there are 2 points, A and B. A and B. Okay, look at so in this diagram, y-axis indicate or represent price of commodity in bracket rupees, and x-axis indicate quantity demanded in kilograms. Okay, quantity demanded in kilograms. Two axes. First axis, y-axis indicate the price of commodity in bracket rupees, and x-axis indicate the demand in bracket kilograms. Okay, so in the diagram, DD is the same demand curve. DD is the same demand curve, and what is the meaning indicated from the diagram? To clear the concept of contraction in demand with the help of the diagram of expansion in demand. So come on, y-axis indicate the price of commodity in bracket rupees, and x-axis indicate the quantity demanded in kilograms. So in this diagram, DD is the demand, DD is the demand curve. So look at that. When price rises, opposition. When price rises from point P to P1, look at that arrow. When price rises P to P1, so demand falls from Q to Q1. When price rises, demand falls. When price rises, demand falls. Okay. But in which point? When price rises from point P to P1, so demand or quantity demand falls from Q to Q1. It is called as contraction in demand. So other thing remaining constant. Once again, when price increases or rises from point P to P1, when price rises, then demand falls from point Q to Q1. Q to Q1. So that contraction in demand can be explained with the help of DD demand curve on that graph. Okay, so look at that. Upward movement. Which movement? Upward movement from point B to A. That movement, upward movement from point B to A, indicate the contraction in demand on the same demand curve. That is, which point? From point B to A on the demand curve, same demand curve, point A, B to A, that B to A, that upward movement indicate that there are contraction in demand. Look at that. So main highlight of that concept, downward movement from A to B indicate the extension in demand, because when price falls then demand rises and other things remaining constant. And so in case of contraction in demand, so upward movement from point B to A indicate the contraction in demand. So here is the end of variation in demand with the help of expansion or extension in demand, and second one is contraction in demand. So dear students, tomorrow's lecture we will start the very important concept, that name is what is the changes in demand with the help of increasing in demand and decreasing in demand. Thank you.